On the fourth Monday of the month, it is State Representative Brad Slagh. He joins us via the Zoom connection. Brad, good morning and welcome back to WHTC.
Good morning, Gary. Sorry I had to quick get off of mute there. I was just enjoying the conversation.
Sounds good. If you have a question for Brad Slagh, he'll be happy to take it at 395-1450, 395-1450. Again, we're going to just take questions for Representative Slagh. We'll be open line after the 11 o'clock news. First of all, you've been having some in-district hours. It's back. Now, granted, one of them is over at BAM, and I don't know whether or not anybody has challenged you to bowl. I know they haven't challenged you for laser tag. Let's put that out. But still, it's nice to get these district hours back, isn't it?
It is. You know, it's fun to have the opportunity to actually speak with people personally and be close enough to actually hear them talk rather than doing it over Zoom or whatever. All of those are valuable things, but there's just nothing like person to person. You get a sense of the meaning of the words because words heard and seen when somebody gives you body expressions and other kinds of stuff, you can read way more into what is being said and be able to answer questions more thoroughly, I think, when you do that. It's great to be able to hear people tell me what they're concerned about and what I should be working on.
What should you be working on? What are they concerned about? Are they concerned a little bit about what's going on with the COVID response by the administration and the state itself, or are they concerned about business? What are the biggest concerns you've been hearing about these from the constituents in these meetings?
You know, obviously the elephant in the room probably is the COVID virus, and how do we care for people and how do we react to the virus as a whole? So we're working really hard on those pieces and continuing to try and make sure that that's something that we're involved in. There's continued thoughts about election stuff and where are we going with that? And because the House has engaged a lot in this vulnerability, transparency, I guess, really, I've been hearing about that when we've been in our office hours as well.
395-1450. Again, we will have open line after the 11 o'clock news, but we do have State Representative Brad Slagh join us. If you have a question for Representative Slagh, we'll take it at 395-1450. Good morning. You're on Talk of the Town.
Well, good morning, Gary. Thank you for taking my call. I have kind of a couple of questions. One is if Mr. Slagh has any 2-year-old children or 2-year-old grandchildren or nieces or nephews or anything like that, and how humane he thinks it may or may not be to require them to wear masks. It seems to me that it would be a trauma-inducing event. I'm not a doctor and I don't play one on TV. And also I'm curious on what the Republican legislature has done to challenge what's that gal's name in Lansing who seems to run the state?
Oh, the governor, yes.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'd like to know his response to that, and I'd like to know what conservative Republicans are doing to stand up.
All right.
Thank you.
Appreciate the call. Representative Slagh, there's a couple of things on your table right there.
There are. Let's start with the masks. And I would agree with the gentleman that's on the phone. I've got a grandchild that is 2.5, and I guess as I think about him, he's just working on learning how to be potty trained, and so there's a whale of how do you get somebody that's that age, that mindset to be able to keep a mask on all day? It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So we are continuing to push back on those kinds of things. Our governor continues to believe that she's doing, excuse me just a second, do what she believes is the best for the folks in the state. We're continuing to, as the Republican Party in the House, at least, continuing trying to say, hey, we believe that we should be doing this together rather than just one person making decisions and pushing that off. The rest of us were elected to be able to help formulate good policy rather than just simply formulating policy. So we're working on that. Funding is probably the place that it's going to be easiest for the Republican Party to be engaged in trying to help formulate policy, is by doing that through the actual dollars and cents available for departments and for the administration.
395-1450, 395-1450. If you have a question for State Representative Brad Slagh. State Republican Party has been outspoken over the last couple of weeks when word got out that the governor had left the state to attend to her father in Florida. Some call it hypocrisy, others, and I'm of the opinion, hey, if she's got to take care of family, she's got to take care of family. Some are saying there's hypocrisy because of what she was saying in one thing and doing in another. I don't know whether or not you've gotten any flack, and lack of a better term, about the governor's trip and whether or not there is hypocrisy, or again, hey, we all got to take care of our families one way or the other.
Yeah, I think that there has been a fair amount of conversation about it. Takes up a lot of oxygen in the air. I've got my mother-in-law is inside of a senior home, and we've not really been able to get inside to be able to take care of our family. It's really interesting that you can go someplace else and actually get in and talk to your family and do things like that, where we can't do that here in Michigan. So is there hypocrisy? I don't know, but does it seem a bit unfair, unwieldy? The answer is yeah, it probably does. So, one of the injunctions I try and live by and try and operate by is let there be no hint of evil. And if there was something that you're saying nobody else should do and you're doing it, it seems like there's a hint of just, at least if it's not evil, it's not good. How's that?
Yeah, there is strength in that particular argument to that. Do as I do, as well as do as I say. That would be nice. 395-1450, 395-1450. Infrastructure, dealing with infrastructure issues, and you've addressed a little bit of this, especially with the erosion issue. You've had some meetings before we had the outbreak about erosion. Looks like that might be addressed, especially some of the infrastructure issues as well. The state needs to work on, and of course, it's also being discussed a little bit on the national level too.
Right. And part of it is there's some dollars coming even already with the CARES Act funding and other kinds of funding that we've received through the federal government. So there is about roughly $13 billion in supplemental dollars that we're looking at right now through the House and trying to figure out where do they go and how do they get out there. And some of that stuff actually can be used for infrastructure, roads, other kinds of infrastructure. And so we're seriously looking at what are the possibilities of using those dollars and where can we do that? It might even include some of the infrastructure along our waterways because of high water problems that we've had, things like that.
395-1450. Good morning. You're on the line with State Representative Brad Slagh.
Yes, I just wonder what you think of the assault on petition drives with Attorney General Nessel actually filing, is it criminal charges against the people that did the canvassing for all these petitions who wanted to open Michigan back up again? Is that anything you are familiar with, or?
So I'm not familiar with what the Attorney General is asking to do from whether they're trying to make a difference for people's livelihood or what they did. I understand that there are some concerns out there about, and I don't know whether they're legitimate or not, about people being engaged in the collection of those signatures in a way that was inappropriate. I just don't know. I wasn't there and I haven't seen it. Don't have any proof for or against.
And I should know more about it too, but to me it seems like it's an assault on any kind of a petition drive, as well as when the governor was petitioned to be impeached. 12, at least that I know of, petitions, but then those were all declined by the Board of Canvassers. And so it just seems like more and more the government is grabbing the power from the people And then one other question about children and grandchildren wearing masks. When a doctor tells a school system that the child shouldn't be in a mask and they will not take the doctor's advice, what can be done about that?
Wow. Well, I think there are conflicting opinions based on which doctor you talk to about value of masks and at what age. So right now, there is no, from my perspective, there's no clear documented evidence that says masks are good, bad for protecting the children, for creating more virus kinds of stuff, depending on what age they are, those kinds of things. So I don't have that information, so probably can't help you with that specifically. The other question was on the petition drive. So I've got as an example, I have a bill out there that's been heard at the House, and that bill is number 4200, which says that there has to be the Secretary of State has to, within a certain timeline, and there's given specific timelines in the bill, has to certify the signatures on that petition drive and get them in, where this one has gone on for a long, long time. So we are working on those kinds of things in the House and trying to move things forward so that we are holding our elected officials accountable.
Appreciate the call. Thank you very much. Peggy, you have one last thing you wanted to talk about real quick?
Very quickly, there were no charges brought against the Reopen Michigan folks. There was an investigation, and Nessel said it didn't rise to the level of charges. So, and then another petition drive to recall Whitmer and several other people, even though the court said it was okay to go forward, the man running it said he couldn't collect 1.6 million signatures in the 60-day period. So he dropped the effort.
All right, that takes care of those little loose ends. State Representative Brad Slagh, I want to thank you very much for joining us today on WHTC's Talk of the Town. I know a little bit abbreviated to sort of taking care of some things, but we appreciate that. And if all goes well, let's do this again next month. Thank you, Brad.
All right, let's plan on. Thanks, Gary. Have a great day.
Thank you very much. Brad Slagh, 99.7 and 1450 WHTC.